Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrol List, and it is what I call it, the smallest large Formula One channel on the face of the planet. 191 awesome subscribers strong, and most of my content, as you know, is about Formula One, but I like Formula One because I like cars, and I like cars because I like driving. And that does beg a question, and that question is, why am I still getting wind noise? Oh, that's why. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, had to shut you guys in. Oh, it's so much better. Does that mean I can roll down a window? Not roast to death? All right, well, clearly that was unplanned. The real question is, can a car actually change your mood? For me, personally, I already know that the answer is yes. You could ask my wife. There are times when I say, hey honey, I'm gonna go for a drive and clear my head. And it does clear my head because I'm really just thinking about the drive. I'm enjoying the drive, and it might not be the same for you, but I think there are a lot of people for whom a nice drive really can change their mood. So I already know the answer is yes for me. So what I'm going to try to do as I go to get coffee is break down why, because I don't think I've done that before. Specifically, I think the more of an emotional bond you have with the car in question, that is going to enhance the rate or efficiency or whatever that it changes your mood. Now, this is a 2000 Audi S4 with almost 250,000 miles, 241,000 miles to be exact. And when I bought it, it was fine for maybe the first 6 months. Then the timing belt went out. Engine didn't work, obviously. It had front suspension problems. It had braking issues, being that the brakes were just too old to really function. So I had the engine out. I had to do suspension work. I had to do brake work. It got hail damage, which actually was a blessing because part of the front end got repainted. So it's been quite the emotional roller coaster for me. I used to wonder, is this car going to make it to the destination? The water pump has gone out. Just all kinds of things. Finally, about a year or two ago, I had the engine completely taken out, and I just told them, do as much work to it as possible while the engine is out. Make it as reliable as possible, and that is what I have right now. So what does that bring to a car? It brings struggle. I do like writing. I have written a novel, and one element they say about your main character, you want to beat the main character up. You want to give them trials and tribulations. Basically, you dang near want to abuse the main character, because the more you do that, the more the reader falls in love with the character and starts to root for the character. And we all know Star Wars, Shrek's Rabbit, even I think Wile E. Coyote from the cartoons. Those are all characters who want something, and the reader ends up wanting you to want that thing on their behalf, even though they go through years and years of struggle. Well, maybe that's part of the reason why I love driving this car so much. It has so much character. It's got a story. This car has been beaten up, and for the longest time, I think I've had this car for about 7 or 8 years now, I have just wanted the car to be reliable, to be able to get from A to B without worrying about it breaking down. And the character is developed, and now I have this car that can get to the grocery store. It can go 50 miles away. I get to, for the most part, just enjoy it. Now, the mass airflow sensor, it did go out the other day, so I had to unplug it. I don't suggest that for all cars. This has a mass, I think, air pressure sensor, which is actually kind of redundant system, so it actually drives fairly decently, actually even better without the mass airflow sensor. Cars that don't have the MAP, I would not suggest that. Even cars with MAP, I also wouldn't suggest that, because I don't want to be responsible for your car blowing up. Okay, character. The more personal investment you have in your car, I think the more actually being able to successfully drive the car is going to change your mood, because all these memories of struggle and repairs, which I would say the majority of which I've done myself, and then, to the shop and having it being worked on for a couple of months, all of that stuff builds a extremely satisfying finale of just being able to enjoy the car for what it is. Okay, that's a good segue. What is the car? It matters. Does it look nice? Does it feel nice to drive? Does it sound nice when you're driving it? If you have a car that does all that for you, and it doesn't matter if it's a gas-powered car or an electric car or turbo, naturally aspirated, rotary, if you enjoy the dynamics, you enjoy the sound, you enjoy the things that the car naturally does as it gets you from point A to point B, it's a symphony. Use all your senses. You've got sight, you've got smell, touch, everything, and it's all working together in concert just the way you like it. That's why a car that is perfectly tuned for a specific driver, oh my gosh, that driver loves that car. I personally love a manual transmission. I like a bit of snap, crackle, and pop. I like a leather interior with a 90s style wood grain. And I love smooth driving dynamics where you turn the car in, it grips the road, and I'm talking about mostly for, some B-road driving like I'm doing right now. Just a little bit of suppleness. I don't like to, feel every single bump. I don't mind having to watch out for the odd pothole or stuff like that, but it's got to be a smooth, dynamic, sporty ride. And I've got to say that this B5 S4, it just delivers. That F-150 came really close to my left rear bumper. I'm not sure why they did that, but and I like a car that pulls, but not too fast. I've said it, a million times. I've had a car that did 0 to 60 in like 3.5 seconds. I didn't find it fun because I was done with the acceleration journey very quickly, and it was an automatic transmission, so all the more reason for me to not really enjoy it. The difference is a car that is fun at low speeds is probably not going to be that fun at high speeds. And that was the problem that I had with the Miata, because when I got on the track, that same soft suspension that I loved on the B roads was now a bit of a liability, because if you would have seen the body roll that it had, especially on off-camber turns, yeah, it felt a little sketch. It felt a little scary. And, I think thing 3, and this is something that a lot of people in the car community, I guess you could call it a car community, this is something that a lot of car guys don't really want to admit, but it is true. The way other people view you when you're driving your car, it does matter. The more unique your car, the more rare your car, or the more of a cult classic your car is, I gotta tell you, you're gonna turn some heads, and especially when people know what the car is and then compliment you on it, there's no better feeling. This is an old Audi, which in most people's eyes may as well be an old Volkswagen. It's invisible to most people. But every once in a while, I'll get someone who is like, holy crap, is that a B5 S4? Now, I'll tell you, there's a lot more of these maybe on the East Coast or, you know, even Pacific Northwest. And when I say a lot, I mean, like, in my time that I've spent in both of those places, I can count on one hand the number of B5 S4s I've seen. Granted, I didn't go to car shows or anything like that, but I gotta tell you, on the highway out here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I actually had someone follow me on the highway. I thought they were trying to street race. It was actually kind of freaking me out a little bit, and I was like, what is going on? I spooled up the turbos, and I just kind of got out of there, and the guy wasn't in a performance car, so he wasn't catching up to me, and I felt pretty good about that. Got into a little bit of traffic. Lo and behold, same guy barreling down, my rear view mirror, and I'm like, geez, this guy again. Well, he pulls up and he rolls down his window. He motions to me to roll down my window, and I'm like, okay. I'm just gonna tell him, I don't street race. It wasn't that. All he wanted to do was say at the top of his lungs, I love your car. I love your car. Give me a big old thumbs up. And because I drive this thing multiple times a week, I forget just how special it is. It is a special car. People love this car when they know what it is. And in the time that I've been in the DFW area, I've only seen one other B5 S4 on the road. Now, it was at a car show. It wasn't just driving around on the street. So it is something that you appreciate, and it wasn't just that guy that has complimented me on the car. So that's it. Let's drive this thing. Sorry for the wind.